This is the town of Childers. Childers was mostly ruined in a disastrous fire in 1902, destroying most of the buildings in the street except the Grand Hotel. That was one of the only surviving buildings on that side of the street. Sadly, there's been a few deaths in the hotel in the ensuing years, with guests and maids. Many guests over the many years staying in the Childers Grand Hotel have reported a presence in their rooms upstairs. One woman saying that when she was running down the stairs, something repeatedly scratched her legs, but there was nobody there. Guests, dogs and cats have barked and hissed at nothing in the corners of rooms, as if there was a presence. And many years later it was discovered there was a secret entrance from room 12 into room 11. Secret attic rooms, stairs that go into empty roof cavities. And many guests today have been awoken in the middle of the night with what felt like arms across their shoulders or their neck, and have properly checked out, stating that they couldn't stay in the hotel. So whether you believe these folklores and legends just as stories or as fact is up to you. So that was our very short visit of the infamous haunted hotel, the Grand Hotel here at Childers. Now they did go in there and they did offer a little bit more information about Luke the Spook. So I subsequently asked, do you actually serve spirits here?
Because they wouldn't have heard that one before.
How's this for a little gem? A 1927 picture theatre. You wouldn't call this a cinema, it's a picture theatre.
No, it's a picture theatre. Yeah.
Anyway, these days it's a coffee shop, but once a month they do have a screening. Last month, you know what it was? The Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Where everyone came and got dressed up and they danced and sounded like a hoot of a time.
Yeah.
We'd love to have been here then.
It's a quirky little town with shall I say, very unusual little businesses. Haunted pubs, old theatres turned into coffee shops. It's cool, something different.
It is.
This is so cool. It's a left intact 1920s cinema, or a picture theatre as it was correctly called. This is so cool. They are closed, but they're letting us have a quick look. Good on you guys for preserving such an old gem. Yep, the Childers Picture Theatre. You know how I love my movies, this is so cool. To be here, the creaky floors, the old timber smells. This is so cool. Now, we've seen a fair share of horror movies in our time, but it's not just our imagination. I mean, let's face it, Crocodile Dundee did far more for Australian tourism than what Wolf Creek ever did. If you're wondering if we've ever had any concerns about, travelling and camping, then the answer is yes. There was this one time. This is about the time where I say gather around, kiddies, and gather around the campfire and I'll tell you a story. Look, I won't sugarcoat this. Late night rest areas and free camping places can be quite creepy, and especially when you're there on your own. When there's lots of travellers and other free campers around, it's not so bad. It's very sociable, even to say they're the best times you'll ever have travelling Australia. But you're not talking about, camping with a group of your mates on motorcycles and having a fun time, or, having parties. I am out there with my family in a motorhome, my wife and 2 daughters. So you've got to be sensible, and when you're travelling as a family on the road, there are times when you do feel a little bit vulnerable. You have to pull into a rest area and you've got to feel the vibe. And for all of you guys that have done the big lap, I'm sure you know where I'm coming from. You've got to drive into a rest area and just get a bit of a sixth sense about what's going on. Are you isolated? Are you vulnerable? Are you alone? Are there other campers there that don't look very wholesome? So you just got to work it out as you go. We have come across rest areas like that. Not very often, but we have come across rest areas where we just promptly move on and find somewhere else. And look, it's the general consensus around most camp spots when travelling Australia. Now, with that being said, Australia is a very safe country to travel in. Camping and you'll laugh, hitchhiking and camping are still very safe here in Australia. Okay, so and there are people doing it. There was this one night, and the girls will remember it vividly. We're in the lower part of Western Australia, for quite a few months back now, and we're driving through a very dense forest, one that ran alongside Shannon National Park, of all places. And the forest was called Granite Peaks State Forest. You can look it up on the internet. And it's known for its very dense foliage. So it gets very dark in there pretty early in the day, because it's just so canopied with all the trees. So we're driven all day, It was late afternoon. We were looking up in wiki camps where to stay for the night. It was very remote. There was nothing around for miles except for this one dark, creepy rest area. We pulled up there and hoping that there'd be other families there travelling through, but nope, we were all on our own. It was late in the day. I sent the drone up through the canopy in the trees just to have a bit of a look around, did a big 360-degree fly around. And I tell you what, guys, all you could see was green forestry of nothingness as far as your eyes could see. We had absolutely no phone service whatsoever. We'd only been there about an hour, and this old crusty man in this beaten up old ute with a pig hunter's cage on the back of it drove through our camp spot. Really slowly, we met eye contact. He looked at me, I looked at him, he idled through and then drove back out and kept going. Didn't nod his head, didn't stop to say g'day. It was very odd considering how remote we were. Anyway, that was that. So I sort of said to myself, okay, well, someone knows where we're camping tonight. Yeah, it was a bit out there, a bit eerie, I thought. Then afternoon grew into complete darkness, and I was cooking the barbecue outside of the motorhome that night, and it was like darkness I've never seen in my entire life. Because the trees canopied everything, there were no stars, there was no moonlight. Had I turned the torch off, you can't see a hand in front of you. It was that dark. The girls wouldn't even come out of the motorhome. And it was deathly silent and still. It was very eerie indeed. The girls wouldn't come out in case the boogeyman all dragged us all off, and that was the end of us. Humans really do have a sixth sense. I think we all know that, and it all felt very odd that day. I never saw the pig hunter again. Did feel very vulnerable. Let me tell you, I kept the car keys handy that night just in case we had to make a quick exit. So we awoke in the morning. It was about 7 o'clock, and there was this eerie sense of stillness about this forest. We're still on our own, hadn't heard a thing all night, and we packed up and promptly kept driving, and that was the end of that. And we're very happy to arrive in the next town, go to a cafe and get a cup of coffee, and we still speak of it, about that campground, to this day. So yeah, that's our story.
Blue moon, you saw me standing alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. Blue moon, you knew just what I was there for. You heard me saying a prayer for someone I really care for. Then suddenly appeared before me, the only one my heart could ever hold. I heard somebody whisper, please adore me. When I looked, the moon had turned to gold. Blue moon, now I'm no longer alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. There suddenly appeared before me, the only one my heart ever hold. I heard somebody whisper, please adore me. When I looked, the moon had turned to gold. Blue moon. Now I'm no longer alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. Blue moon, now I'm no longer alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own, without a love of my own.
The humble cane toad. Yep. If ever in Queensland, you're bound to run into this guy. So he was introduced to Australia in 1935 from Hawaii. And the little bugger was brought out here to deal with another pest, the cane beetle. Well, this imbecile didn't go anywhere near the cane beetle and become a bigger pest than the cane beetle itself. Yep, and ecologically it's taken about 50 years for the Australian native fauna to get used to their poison, which is pretty quick, by the way, in Mother Nature terms. Yep, this ugly, repulsive, oozing, dripping, pus-squirting creature has a face only a mother could love. Indeed. Go on, off you go. Quick, off you go. There you go.